If you've done a peel, though,
Yeah.
you know, you did a TCA 20 or 30 or something like that, yeah, it's going to look worse usually. It could be red, it could be aggravated for a couple of weeks. Then
Yeah,
it takes
'cause
a
the
few weeks
body
to start
takes.
peeling.
Yeah, right.
Then, yeah, it could look worse before it looks better. So that's why photos are so important.
All right, today let's talk about stretch marks.
Yeah.
Stretch marks are traditionally scars.
Part of life.
Right?
Right.
It's
Yep.
a scar. It's a very, very deep scar, and many, many people have them and are plagued with them, even, you know, from weight loss, even growth spurts. You know, sometimes young, even teenagers can get them from
Absolutely.
growth spurts and things, and obviously weight loss, pregnancy.
Weight gain, there's just a million things that are any time your skin is stretched in a direction too fast.
For sure.
You know, fibers tear and it creates a scar. And, you know, that is what it is. People, so we have to target it like we target any scar.
Absolutely.
So, you know, there are definitely some main things that we can do.
Yes.
With scars, we like to try to break them down a little bit. We usually use an acid for that.
Yeah, because that's a scar tissue, right? So it's a little more,
A little sturdier.
a little more maybe resistant, maybe.
I would say, yeah. And the only scars that we don't want to work on now with a stretch mark, we're not worried about keloids and things like that. But I just want to mention, because we're talking about this as a scar, and we're basically going to talk about a scar treatment.
Yes.
The only kind of scar we don't want to put more acids on is a keloid, and a keloid is not just a raised scar; that's a hypertrophic scar. As long as it stays within the original wound, that's just a normal hypertrophic scar. We can put acid on that.
Okay.
If you have a wound and the scar tissue expands past it, that's called a keloid.
Yeah.
And we don't ever want to aggravate scars like that.
For sure.
Not with acid.
Because it could potentially make it worse.
We can make it worse, and that's the last thing we want to do.
Your skin
we
will
want to only
go into
improve
this. It's sort of keeps kind of stimulating things, and sometimes
more growth, more expansion.
yeah.
Things like that happen. Something like that happened to my mom, and she had like a shot on her arm from when the little, you know, kids used to get that one shot, right? Everybody has that scar. She had that scar worked on, got a keloid, so it got worse because they did stuff to it. And every time they tried to do more, it got worse. So you just reach a point where you just don't do anything else to it, right? So what you would do, though, it's not like you're out of luck.
Right.
You would just use something like copper. You know, copper is a skin remodeling. We're going to use that with this, but we're just going to combine acid with it. Copper helps to break down not normal skin tissue. So that can be anything from like bumps and growths, but scars as well. It's just it's formed different than your normal skin.
Right.
You know, so it knows this. It helps to break it down, and then it stimulates your body to regenerate new tissues, to replace what is odd, not quite correct skin tissue. And that is actually what my mom did on her arm to improve the look of her keloid scar.
Sure.
So something like this can be done. But part of this, like this is breaking down scar tissue. What else can we use to break down scar tissue? Acids, right? So step one, this is kind of step two for most people.
Sounds like
Step
a
one is
two-step.
doing a peel.
Yeah.
So obviously we can use a little stronger acids. Usually, I guess, of course, this is going to depend on your skin color. If you're very light, you're going to be less prone to having issues. If you're Fitzpatrick 4 through 6, which is anybody with like olive skin tone and darker, you're going to run a higher risk of getting post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So you always want to prep for at least 4 weeks with a melanin inhibitor.
For sure.
Our Fade Bright has, you know, the alpha-arbutin, which is that key ingredient. Of course, you can use hydroquinone as well. Some people have prescriptions of that. Perfectly fine. Use it for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And actually, the lighter skin tones should do that as well. And then we want to break down the scar tissue. Now, I've had some people ask me, like, do I apply it to the whole area? Do I just apply it to the scar? If you have, you know, a couple of strips of stretch marks, okay, I would suggest, you know, just take a Q-tip, dip it into your acid, make sure it's not dripping, you know, rub it off in there. And then you could probably just follow along the line a little bit.
Kind of isolate it to the actual
Isolate it to the
stretch
scar.
mark. Yeah.
To the stretch mark, If it's all over, though, you know, sometimes people have like a vast area.
Sure.
You're obviously going to be better off treating the whole thing.
For sure.
You know, use your gauze, get it wet, not dripping, apply a couple of layers, probably like a 20 is a good place to start.
Yes.
I hesitate to tell people to start 30 unless they're very, very light skin.
Right.
And, then focus on with something like that.
For sure.
But yeah, use the acid, break it down.
Yes.
And then once that's healed and all that kind of stuff, then use your copper on a daily basis.
Hydration, of course, maybe emu oil.
I would, heal with emu oil, or especially on the
oil.
body. I also, essential healing blend.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it's a bigger area, like the shea butter, I love shea butter because
yeah.
it's thicker and it really does stand. A lot of times you can do like emu oil or essential oil and put the shea butter on top.
Yeah.
For long lasting, or of course you could use Aquaphor, things like that. And I would actually suggest that you need some sort of thicker barrier. Like if you're, a lot of times this is in like a hip area,
Right.
or the back of your butt, things like that, or your thighs, where your clothing's going to be rubbing. So that's the kind of time where I say, we need like a barrier to protect the skin that you've treated. So you can use Aquaphor, or you can use something thicker like the shea butter, and put it on a little bit thicker so you protect against.
Speaking of shea butter, I did a phone call with an expecting mom, and she was fearful of,
Stretch marks
to come. So we talked in great lengths about, treating her growing belly daily with the shea butter.
I put shea butter on too when
shea
I was
butter
pregnant.
and emu oil. I
And emu
recommended
oil.
both, or even the healing oil. I feel like, that's going to help things make it nice and pliable for
Whatever
when baby's
you
growing.
can do. And it doesn't matter. Your skin is just stretching so much and it's itching and
yeah, right. I remember that.
It could be tearing, and that's what's causing the
Yes,
stretch
yes.
marks in the future.
Yes.
So whatever you can do. Some people love cocoa
Cocoa
butter.
butter, yeah.
I find cocoa butter is so hard though.
Yeah.
It is so hard. This comes in like a stick. It's
Yes,
hard to
I
get
remember
on there.
that.
Shea butter, you scoop it and rub it in your hands.
Yeah.
It just melts.
Yeah.
So much easier to put on. And
you
emu
can
oil, of
heat
course,
it a
you have to
little
do
bit
nothing
too,
to.
for maybe 5-10 seconds in
In the
in
microwave,
the microwave
something.
if you want it, because it is a harder butter as well.
Yes.
But it does melt in your hand. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now let's think about this. Sometimes, acid isn't the only way to break down a scar, right? So what can we do? We can needle it.
Yeah.
So we have the new Alchemy line. Here's our micro infusion suite.
Very cool.
And this comes with a serum that, of course, you can needle with, and it comes with all of your needles. And one serum that I would highly, highly recommend, because PDRN is known for helping scars. So, of course, we have our PDRN serum. You can pour that right into here. You can mix it with the growth factors. You can mix it with the adipose exosomes, anything you want. But this, too, needling also helps to break down scar tissue.
Sure.
So I would and this also has the copper in it. This has the GHK in there. So just super all the way around for targeting scars. So I would do this, go over that. I will go over the scar probably 2 or 3 times. And we're not trying to be super gentle to this, especially with the needling. I would go over it. Remember, whenever you stamp on the area you want to stamp, cover about 50%. Keep going. When you're done covering that area, that's 1.
Let's talk a little bit about our unique needle head.
Yeah, this is way better than anything else that, you're going to find of a similar style, I guess we'll say, like a stamping tool.
Yes.
Most of them you'll find maybe 16 or 20 needles. And so we had this one customized for us, of course, and this has 30 needles on there. So what that equates to is that's 50% more coverage every stamp that you do.
awesome.
So you are getting far more activity using this little needle here than, let's say, some others on the market, of which there's a few for sure.
And your serum is literally going to penetrate because the serum is coming through the needle.
And you've got more holes here, right,
Yeah.
for that serum to come through. So you're having more efficient serum flow
Yeah.
when you're using something like this. I mean, still, you fill it up with whatever you want to put in here. You're going to flip it upside down for a couple minutes, then you're going to clean that area. So I'm always like assuming you're doing it like on a belly area or your hip. Clean that. You want to sanitize that skin. I would suggest either double washing it or using an antibacterial cleaner or just get like an alcohol on on a gauze or a cotton pad,
Yeah.
go over the area because, we want this to be sanitized. And then these are, when you take this out of here, these needles are sanitized. If you
Okay.
bought the refill kit, of which actually we have the refill kit. Let's say you don't want to use this serum and you only want to use the PDRN.
Right.
Well, you can just buy this kit here, which comes with 1 tool and 6 of the needles.
Okay.
And then buy whatever serum you want. Like, so if I were going to treat my scars,
Right.
you might want to just buy this and then the PDRN, and then you can do that.
Wow. So that would be technically 6 treatments.
6 treatments. And then this comes with 3 bottles. So, I mean, are you going to use the whole bottle in a treatment, especially if you're treating just a small area?
Probably not.
Probably not. So, maybe pour half of the bottle in here
Okay.
and put the rest away. So you could potentially do way more treatments. I mean, there's 5 ml in this bottle. You're not going to use 5 ml
Right.
to cover an area like that.
For sure.
Maybe half of the bottle.
And you would want to isolate that to the actual scars, I'm assuming, the needling.
Yeah, because that's, that's our topic
Yeah, we're
is
trying to
our
break
scars
that down and
or
break
stretch
down
marks.
that stretch mark, kind of so the products and coppers and things are going to penetrate nicely.
Yeah. And so, like, there is a little bit of copper in the GHK, but that doesn't mean that's just during that treatment.
Yes.
Right? So, for the rest of the month or,
Yeah.
2 weeks later, whenever you're deciding, depends on how aggressive you are. Let's say you just did that scar once. Okay, well, in 2 weeks, you can probably do another needling treatment. If you went over it 2-3 times,
Yes.
you should probably wait 4 weeks before you do another treatment. So in the meantime, you can use things like this, the GHK, Crepey
Sure.
Skin Escape, or you can use, the second generation copper peptides, like
Yes.
which is a Super Cop 2X, or you could use a Super CP serum, whatever you want. Just pick a good copper product.
Yes.
We like these, obviously, these are by Dr. Bacart. These are way
Right.
more intense than anything else you're going to find out there. Higher percentages of the active ingredient. But you can use this, and as always, take a picture.
Yes.
Because, everything,
true.
remodeling takes time.
It does.
But if you take a picture before you start, take a
Yes.
picture every single month. As you go, I mean, these things work. Needling works. Breaking it down.
Yes.
That's literally what the cross is.
Yeah.
It's almost a combination of needling and then an acid
Wow.
peel. We're breaking it down multiple ways. So using an acid or using a needle, not both of these at the same
let's
time
make
ever.
that,
let's clarify
disclaimer.
that.
Let's
Never
make
in
that
a million
disclaimer.
years should you pour acid in here and needle this into your skin. That's a no-no.
No.
That's an 10,000% no-no.
Yes.
We're going to alternate those instead. Maybe you're going to do needling this month and you're going to do a peel next month.
Right. And
Whatever
that
you
in
want.
conjunction with the copper peptides
That's
and the
how you treat
PDRN. I mean, that is really a great regimen.
That's how you're
Yeah.
going
And
to
consistency.
improve your...
You want to. It's not going to be. You're not going to get one treatment and they're going to be gone.
Oh, no.
You have to realize that this is going to
It might even look
be-
worse at
at
first because
first, yeah.
we're aggravating it.
True.
Yeah, especially if we're talking about peels. Let's
Yeah.
talk about peels from it. Because this, if you're doing needling, it could be a little bit inflamed for a day or two. Then it's going to be fine. Especially if you're using PDRN or any of the serums that we
yeah.
have. Those are calming. They're going to calm and heal. That's going to look normal
Yeah.
after a day or two.
Yeah.
If you've done a peel, though,
Yeah.
you did a TCA 20 or 30 or something like that, yeah, it's going to look worse usually. It could
Yeah.
be red, it could be aggravated for a couple of weeks. Then
Yeah,
it takes
'cause
a
the
few
body
weeks to start
takes-
peeling.
Yeah, right.
Then it could look worse before it looks better. So that's why photos are so important. Because once that 4 weeks is up
Yeah.
and the regeneration has taken place, it's gonna be looking better.
Yeah.
And then you're like gonna do it again
Right,
where it might
yeah.
look a little bit worse
Yeah.
for a bit. But it's a process.
For sure.
I would always anticipate, at least just like with any peel series, 6 to 8.
Yes.
Same thing with needling, 6 to 8. I mean, you got to give it months for this to
Consistency.
work. But if you're taking your pictures, I can't wait to see pictures coming in
Yeah, that'll be amazing.
when people are actually using these and some of these new products and new ingredients we have that
Yeah.
are just perfect.
Yeah.
And that's why they're here. That's why they were added,
Yeah.
because they're perfect for
Yeah.
a lot of things that our customers really need help with. And this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and definitely the stretch marks are something that we do hear that a lot, and now during the winter months is when everybody is trying to treat those, and it's winter
Yeah.
here in Michigan.
Everything's
like
under
it is.
wraps. It's all
right?
covered.
So now
Go
is
for
an
it.
amazing time to, you still can get 3-4 treatments in before,
At least.
springtime hits, and that's making some serious headway, and especially with the needling and the PDRN and, everything just, it's just going to be an amazing
Like I said, we're going to have so many
journey.
wonderful photos. I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
all the new stuff. Like for like the reviews we have for like our TCA and stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait. We're going to have so much because these things are going to work great for people.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
So that's what we recommend for stretch marks. And if you have any other questions, be sure to email us at support@platinumskincare.com.
Yep.
You can phone us at 1-800-917-3155.
Yep, we're here Monday through Friday to help.
Yes, Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
9 to 4 was probably the best time to call.
Yeah, don't call at 9:30. The phone lines literally shut off.
Yeah, 4:30. At 4:30, the phone lines will shut off. So if you really need a good consultation, call by 4 p.m. so we can give you the time that you deserve. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yay.